Hey guys, this is M-Pig, and I went to go see Kick-Ass. Oh yeah, baby. And let me just say straight out that all of the controversy surrounding Hit Girl is most likely by people who need to get over themselves, or one, are way too conservative for me, and I probably don't want to talk to them anyways, or two, people who are probably already pedophiles. No, this is going to sound kind of like a sick remark on my point, but it seems like less women are complaining about the hit girl thing than guys are. Guys who are probably weird. That's just my viewpoint on this. But anyways, the movie was amazing. There's no other way of saying it. It was hilarious. It was action-packed to the max, as co-hosts would say on Spill. And it was just full of pretty much everything that I go to the movies for escapism. You know, it's not the most poignant film. It didn't make me cry. It didn't make me go through a wide range of emotions, really. But man, oh man, it is jam-packed with the sort of summer blockbuster fun that everybody goes to this kind of movie for. It's not the summer yet, but man, we got a spring release that should have been released in the summer. This makes... Honestly, I haven't had this much fun in a theater since Star Trek. And I think that's saying a lot because Star Trek is one of my favorite movies, period. I know some of you out there don't understand quite why. I've gotten lots of responses from people. Why did you love Star Trek so much? Because it was a freaking badass movie. And this is up to that same level of awesome. It wasn't quite as emotional for me, but man, these action sequences, these are some of the best action sequences that you could possibly string together. I was thinking by the midway point, okay, things are starting to drag a little bit. You know, I'm not getting quite what I wanted, but then you begin to realize that that section in the middle is really more kind of like the deep breath before the plunge, because like the last 30 minutes of this movie is nothing but non-stop hilarity. And I do say hilarity. It's these action sequences, there are so many little gags and little throwaway. It's almost like watching a Looney Tunes cartoon. You see Hit Girl running down a hallway, taking out like 12 guys, and this little pint-sized little girl, like 11 or 12 years old, throwing daggers at people, shooting people in the head. Like, it's just full of insanity. You can hardly believe what you're watching sometimes, because there seems to be very little CGI in this movie, and when they do use CGI, it's very obviously fake and almost kind of used as a gag. For instance, there's this... Well, I'm not going to spoil that now that I think about it. It's best that you see that on your own. But there's a point where there's a really awesome use of CGI that looked like something out of a bad Superman movie. Like, not out of a bad Superman movie, out of an old Superman movie. Like, right near the end, and I was looking at it going, oh, come on, you could have done better than that. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, no, it matches the tone of this film perfectly, and it gets dark. It does get dark. There's a point where, and I think this is part of the reason why the humor works as well as it does, because the movie is really multi-layered in the way it handles its, its scenes. It doesn't just stick with it, oh, this is a silly, fun superhero movie, even though it really is a silly, fun superhero movie. Occasionally, it goes down a really dark corner where you're like, oh my god, I think the characters might actually die, or, oh, is this the end for him? And that's not something I feel when I'm watching these types of movies most of the time. I'm thinking, yeah, we know that everybody's going to live because there's going to be a sequel, but this movie doesn't play it safe. So you're constantly second-guessing yourself, wondering, how is this going to turn out? Because it's already broken so many rules that you have no idea where it's going. And once you finally reach that conclusion, it is oh so satisfying, and I left the theater with a huge old grin on my face. It's that type of feel-good movie for me. You know, it's depressing, and it's kind of sick to a degree at points, but it's just so fun. This is the type of movie you need to go in with a lot of other like-minded people and laugh your ass off. A lot of other comic book fans should get together in a group, and I could totally see this almost being like a Rocky Horror Picture Show kind of thing, because there's so many clever quotes and little amazing sequences in this movie that I can imagine people like shouting out in the theater saying their favorite lines at particular points. The script is sharp, and also the screenplay, even though it was based off of a Mark Millar comic, the screenplay was written by a woman So people who are accusing the writer of this particular movie of being of sexualizing women, sexualizing little girls, which honestly, I want to address this again. I don't understand it. I don't. It's an 11-year-old girl going around killing people who has a foul mouth. I didn't perceive anything sexual from it, and I think people who do are probably sick. I'm sorry, you're probably sick. And the writer of the movie is female. So, if anything, yeah, she can get away with it. Ha ha ha. So anyways, Kick-Ass, very fun movie. I would no doubt give it a 4 out of 5. The only reason I wouldn't give it a 4.5 is because there were points where the transitions between tones was a tiny bit jarring. And you can kind of hear the clunk-clunk of the screenplay every so often, and you're kind of looking at it going, oh, that could have been smoother. For instance, the kid's transformation into Kick-Ass. It could have been handled with a bit more care, a bit more delicacy. He just sort of becomes this hero sensation overnight, which, you know, it's supposed to be that way. But I would have liked for a bit more of a sort of, you know, growing into it. You didn't seem to get it all that much. It wasn't as finely pointed as, let's say, something like Spider-Man or something along those lines. A real superhero movie. But just because this is a spoof, I actually do feel this is one of the stronger entries in this genre that we've gotten since, well, The Dark Knight. This is the best entry in the genre that we've gotten since The Dark Knight. Lots of people are going to look at me as if I'm nuts by saying that, but what else has come out since then? Nothing on this particular level of goodness, of fanboy, fan-servicey goodness. It's just pure, and I want to just eat it up. I love it so much. This is MPig, and I am signing out. If you're old enough and you have a strong enough stomach, make sure to see Kick-Ass, because it is violent, crude, and hilarious.